the products that America needs. China comes here, all those people in the Asian tiger, they come here, take your rubber, take your cocoa, take your tea. Kenya, they go there, take the tea, process it, and send it back to the US and send them to us. So I have come here to tell us, when are we going to improve? When? So these are questions we need to ask ourselves. That's my picture on there. It's not going. And I want to really say that where we are today is a time in history that we cannot afford to miss. I repeat, we cannot afford to miss the opportunity that God has given us. And this is what I mean. The trade beyond borders started in Africa. That is it. Trade beyond borders started in Africa. And how did it start? Okay. Yeah, that's the AGOA I have talked about. That's after, why is it doing all that? Okay. So this is I've already talked about the Asian Pacific Trade Agreement. Then I've talked about AGOA, which started in 2000 and expires next year, 2025. And we pray that the government that comes into the United States does not cancel AGOA. If it does, Africa will be set back many years. Simple reason, because the market for United States is the biggest. It's the biggest. There is no other market. So you cannot even combine 2 or 3 countries to be equal to the US in terms of the volume that they buy. So the election coming is extremely important to Africa. And before I left there these few days, I said, Africans, please just know how you vote. Now, this word called diaspora is extremely important. The diaspora are those people who left their motherland and go to live in a place that is not their country. Africa happens to be one of those. Many people left here and went somewhere else. Okay, I already mentioned the diaspora achievement. What is Fireflies, which we'll talk about. I think Fireflies person won a trophy on this. And then that same man, his brother, is producing Android phones in the US, Atlanta, that is exportable to other countries. He wants to come here and set up and produce it. But investors are running away because everybody is scared they will be rich. I want to counsel that in the name of Jesus. Now, let me just define trade beyond borders. It's nothing more than you selling to another person in another country. If it is within Nigeria, when you trade in Abia State, you have traded beyond Akwa Ibom. So that, by I say, is within the country, you can still beyond borders. But the one that is so clear is when you're talking about a different country. So it is important to know that then invest beyond borders is when you invest in another country or another location, another territory outside your immediate environment. So the time has come for us to do all we can to get our people overseas to trade and invest. To trade and invest. And they are ready, but we don't have anything to sell to them. We don't have much to trade for now. So it is very crucial that this is, here we are going to the history of trade beyond borders. I said it started in Africa, and it started in the form of slave trade. They came here and forcefully took our people and shipped them overseas. And they went there and worked for them. You can see here, that's the ship. They will take them in those days. For those of us who know Ikot Abasi, which is where I'm from, when you go to the Ikot Abasi River, you see what is called Bridge of No Return. Bridge of No Return has 3 bunkers that was to hold 30 people. They will take them to the Bridge of No Return. When you go in, you don't come out. You wait until you're dumped into the ship to be shipped overseas. If you die, they drop you in the water. So some of us might have taken some of that old water that they had left behind. And what God has done is to create wisdom in us and give us opportunity to know what we know today. My time is up? Okay. So, now, from there came the raw materials that you are aware of. The cocoa, the gold, and the metals, also the palm produce. They ship them across, and we never did benefit from those. Now, for today, Africa has not benefited from this trade beyond borders, because when the US gave us the AGOA in 2000, we never utilized it. So they counted crude oil and a few minerals as our trade, which to me is not acceptable. So Asia had benefited and benefits tremendously, because the people went into the US, partnered with the people, learned what to do, and took it home and owned it. So Asia benefited. That's the Asians and the Americans shaking hands, and you can see it. The company called Overseas Private Corporation, Overseas Private Investment Corporation, a U.S. country, the American-owned equipment financing plants, airplanes, did most of the financing for them. In addition to that, you had the Export-Import Bank. Some of you have heard of that name, Import-Import Bank of the United States, that finance things that are not that so expensive. And that's what made those people so rich today. Now, where are we today? Africa, we have not participated. The diaspora, our own diaspora, have not participated. And that's the music I'm singing in the US. And I want to sing it here. Your people are not participating because we don't care. We don't care. We just sit down and wish God will do it for us. I'm sure He says, if you learn, you can do it for yourself, because I've done it for you. So, recent statistics, Alibaba is a Chinese company. Most of you buy through Alibaba Express. In year 2021, that company, the commissions they make from trading for the Chinese companies was $135 billion. $135 billion. And they employ 235,000 people. But the American, 100 black businesses in America only made $25 billion. 100 black businesses in America. So when I talk over there with all command and only 70,000 employees, so we haven't participated. And it's sad. So the way forward, we must utilize the AGOA. Only few months remaining. We pray it is reinstated, and after is African Continental Free Trade Area member. So quickly, after is something that is so good, but we haven't read about it. So let me announce today, there is a bank called UBA that has voted $6 billion for AFTA. $6 billion US. I don't know if anybody is aware of that or if people are aware of that. It says Africans take this money, become entrepreneurs, invest it, and ship within the continent, and you can ship outside. That's been there for the past 8 months. And I want to also mention this, that America, using the USAID, has allocated $300 million for shipment of items from Africa, raw or finished form, to the US in the next, this was agreement of March this year, the next 18 months. So the doors are open. It's how to learn how to benefit from it. We have some projects in progress I'd like to mention for the Guadeloupe people. Today, as I can tell you, we have 7,500 hectares of swamp rice in need to be farmed and under arrangement and guaranteed by First Bank. But we have not been able to get it done because our people are not interested. 2, there is a bulk purchase arrangement already completed by our group that will bring shipload of commodities into Guadeloupe. Again, our people have not shown interest. So let me not bother you too much. I've already mentioned the UBA, US government agencies that have something to do with the business we are talking about are many. So it's quite instructive that it is time for us to spend time with each other and begin to learn. If we don't learn, we can't do. And if we don't do, we cannot progress. I'm not going to go further, but I believe in this motto that says, trade to thrive and invest to prosper. And with that, I can say I'm ready for questions and answers. I just take a few. If I have stepped on anybody's shoes, please don't crucify me. Come and question me. And when I present you the facts, I'm sure you will say you have tried. I've been working on this for over 30 years. I mentioned 19 in the 70s. And I've talked about it in many places. Each one of you will be paying a minimum of $5,000 to listen to me speak. Thank you very much, my brothers and sisters. If any question, I can answer it sharp and run away. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we please appreciate Dr. Manager once again? Very graciously. Thank you so very much. The ball moves over to the moderator, Pastor Godwin Okwat, to please set the ball rolling on the diaspora. But in the meantime, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, just at the beginning of the last presentation, we're delighted to be joined by the Honorable Commissioner in charge of the Ministry of Trade and Investment in Akwa Ibom State. Dr. John Atom has joined us again today He was with us throughout yesterday. Can we please very richly appreciate him? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are delighted that you are here and you are here with us completely. We also celebrate all the great people who joined us again today. And for today, we have the Director South of the Nigeria Shippers Council, come all the way from Port Harcourt, Mr. Okoliko Jeremiah. Can we please appreciate him? You are most welcome, sir. Thank you very much. Let the discussion continue. Pastor Kwata.
Once again, very good day to all of us. This is the second day of this very important roundtable on agribusiness. I'd like to join the MC to once again welcome His Excellency here, ably represented by Honorable Commissioner for Trade and Investments for Akwa Ibom State, Dr. John James Itim, and also welcome in his capacity, in whom reason we are gathering here as the Honorable Commissioner for the Ministry of Trade and Investment, and by extension, every other very distinguished member of the head table, and most importantly, the man that I've just finished presenting, then very distinguished participants, and very distinguished exhibitors. But what I noticed yesterday, some of the exhibitors, particularly the brave woman, anybody that came with something that was eatable yesterday sold out everything. So I was like, what are you going to exhibit? Because the issue was not to come and sell, but to exhibit. So they sold our exhibits. All of them sold our exhibits.
But it's not criminal, sir. It's not criminal to sell out.
No, it's not criminal, it's business. So I want to thank you all. I went outside to observe. Honorable Commissioner, they have actually restocked. And I know that before now, they will also sell our exhibits. Then come back to the presentation of this morning. I'm led by no other person than, he says he's not young. Of course, admittedly, it's not. I can testify to it. Apart from his white hair, and I want to say that Umalaite was the Accountant General in Akwa Ibom State so many years ago when I was just a branch manager in a bank. In fact, before I became branch manager. So you can imagine now that I have the privilege of even talk less of moderating his presentation. So the Bible says, for every good father, there are children will be greater than us. I'm not saying I'm greater than you, but I'm just standing on that biblical injunction to trust you to pray for me as I try to put your presentation across in a more relaxed way so that the audience and the participants can really understand. What our daddy here was simply trying to say is that it is possible for Nigerians to make dollars, pounds sterling, Dubai dirham, every other, yes, while you are still in Nigeria. How do I mean? Last time I checked, somebody came into my office this morning before I came here. He said, he would like me to be in one of the investment outfits. There's someone we left yesterday, another people have taken it over. Just have to do with this. That there are some American companies actually employing some young people in tech and pay them $5,000 a month. While they are still in Nigeria, they don't need to come to the US. I quickly said, okay, let us assume 1,600 at $5,000, meaning that there are young men and women, they are said up to about about 100 of them or more, staying in Akwa Ibom here, earning 8 million naira per month. And we're all here. So I said, let me come here to drive home Daddy's presentation this morning, all what he's saying is that it is very simple and straightforward, given the enabling environment and the support, for you to sit here and export whatever you can do, particularly in the area of foodstuff, to countries like the USA, the Great Britain, as they like to be called, to Dubai, and to other advanced countries. I'll just make the following statements. On one or two occasions, when I have the privilege to travel with my wife to Dubai, to the UK, and to the US. Why I say privilege, for those of us that are married, you need to really love your wife before certain things happen. And to take them out like that, you must agree with a list, a shopping guide, whether we like it or not. They are one of those that don't believe in trying to do exchange rate when you are buying outside the country. Even you, when you do it, you will not buy anything. But if you don't guide them, they'll go and get lost in any of the shops and markets. So while in Dubai, I woke up one morning, I didn't see my wife again. Went out with a friend, came back with all sorts of food stuff. Fish, Akwa Ibom. Afang, Akwa Ibom. Editan, Akwa Ibom. Etidod, Akwa Ibom. Nkongobong, Akwa Ibom. Iyak, Akwa Ibom. Ebot, Akobusem. I said, where did you get this from? He said, Nigerian shop down the street. I said that was not enough. That was for them to come and cook. In the evening, they said they want to take me out. Whenever you go out, behave like a child so that they will guide you. They took me to an 100% African food, Akwa Ibom food shop in Dera, in Dubai. We went to the UK, that one was even too much. In the US, that one was even too much. What I'm trying to say, for the number of days we stayed in any of those countries since then, Akwa Ibom people, Nigerians no longer eat the food from that area. They eat what they could have eaten at home. So I asked her, why do we even come abroad? Why do we travel? No burger, no this, no that. And can I shock you? Before, we used to have problem with carrying those food, dealing with quarantine, dealing with customs, and all that. I recall once I was traveling, my wife gave me crayfish to give to people. When I got to the airport in the US, the woman insisted that he needed to check my bag, and that other bag was food, and not only Obu was there, Obu was there. And I allowed her. By the time she tried to locate, she was looking for pumpkin fruit. So she wanted to, because it's not allowed. So along the line, he put her hand into the bag. She dragged out the ground, of course, blood came. So you are very wicked man. I said, but madam, I told you. Carry the thing and go away. And I went with it. But I found out that all those harassment was not necessary going forward. So there is no need for you to actually travel abroad with those food stuff anymore. Because in all the countries that we visit, there are African shops. And those things are made possible mostly by people that have never visited. They have never visited. They have never gone out of this country. So the big question is that, what are we waiting for? Whether we like it or not, it is better and smarter to earn in foreign currency now than earn all your money in Naira. $5,000 as we speak is 8 million Naira today. So I open the floor for discussion with that bit of adumbration and respect that we'll cue into it in the next 5 minutes, and let us have contribution from my colleague here. But that is the truth. Don't bother to carry afang. Don't Just travel with their back. Don't allow your wife put you into trouble. Tell her when you get there, you eat whatever she like us to eat. How many of us still believe that our wife sees us as children? An average husband to an average wife, that average husband is a small boy, he knows nothing. They guide us, they direct us. You know why? Because they want us to live for them. And no. So please listen to them, whether we like it or not. They are better guides than us. Men are relatively not very careful. God bless us in Jesus' name. So please, over to you.
His Excellency, the Executive Governor, ably represented by Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Trade and Investment, our highly respected elder that made the presentation, and every other persons present. I want to start by saying that the presentation was so apt. Our highly respected elder that made the presentation mentioned that there are over 6,000 products available for export under AGOA. And I also wish to add that the utilization rates, especially for Nigeria, is very, very low, very poor, at 37%. There's the average utilization rate of sub-Saharan Africa leading 17 countries is actually 90%, led by Zambia and Ghana on the 17th position. So we are now saying Nigeria utilization rate is 37%, meaning that there's a lot of opportunities that we are really closing our eyes, and we need to really explore and exploit these opportunities. During the course of the presentation, I think something that is similar is the export of talents. We can export talents really and make money. Our executive director also did mention something just a few minutes ago. People making 8 million naira while in Nigeria earning dollars. That's fantastic. But coming back home to the purpose of our gathering, which is actually agribusiness. So I want to now come down to the aspect of agricultural business. I actually represent Nigeria Commodity Exchange. We are based in Abuja. And what we do basically is to provide a platform for people to trade, including domestic and export trades. So, when you're exporting, the issue of quality is very, very key. If you don't export the right desired quality, there's going to be an issue. There are instances where we have had rejection of produce from Nigeria, beans, wrong chemicals, and all of that. Those are they're not palatable experiences, which we wish nobody really have that kind of experience. So, in terms of quality, the exchange will ensure that that quality specification or quality standard is met. We are very strong on quality, so that not just for export, even for domestic consumption, we don't put the life of the consumer of those products at risk of even death. So that settles that. So we also provide the platform for what we call price discovery. In other words, when you are selling or buying at the right price. Whether Nigeria in diaspora or Nigerians at home, all of us can take advantage of exports. And we need to get the prices right. The exchange is going to support on that. On the area of storage too, we provide infrastructure, storage facility. You want to export anything, say maybe it's cocoa, maybe it's sesame seed, maybe it's even cassava chips. You need to be able to aggregate first, get the right quantity in addition to the quality. So, and for that commodity to be managed, there is need for professional inventory management. And that means that experts are going to take care of those commodities to maintain the quality and also to safeguard the commodity that you intend to export. All of this we are going to do for you at the exchange. We have strong relationship with our sister agency, the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, which statutorily is saddled with the responsibility of export, especially if you want to take advantage of export incentives. You need to go through the Nigeria Export Promotion Council. And let me also give another perspective that the NCS, Nigeria Commodity Exchange, is a baby of the Central Bank of Nigeria. So that's the majority shareholder. Yes, we are a government organization or government business, but then the majority shareholder is the Central Bank of Nigeria, and we have good relationship with them. Meaning that in terms of other documentations that may require CBN, you don't necessarily need to come to NCS for that. These are things that you could do on your own, online, and to be able to get your documentation right and also get your incentives if you so desire to get that. So in terms of I talked about the utilization rate that is very low for now, and the encouragement is that more people should come into export, especially Nigerians in diaspora. They should take advantage and make a lot of money. There's a lot of money to be made in agricultural commodities. Let me just say this locally. There's a story of somebody who, around December last year, he invested 6 million naira to buy dry pepper, chili pepper. By the time he sold some few months back, he made 50 million naira. This not even export, local trade. 6 million naira as investment. Few months down the line, he made 50 million naira. Why? Because as at the time he bought each bag of the chili pepper, he bought it at 25, 28, 30, highest 35,000 naira. And when he was selling 300,000 naira, because of what you and I know that is happening in Nigeria today. So a lot of businesses, a lot of opportunities. I want to say also that the agricultural export to the US is still very, very low. It's still very, very low. Talking generally about the sub-Saharan Africa, it's just about 14.4%. 14, very, very low. Whereas textile, that clothing product, is way above 27%. So there is room for us to really expand and increase. And one key thing we should also take cognizance of is that rather than do primary products like the cocoa beans, let's try and do value addition. By that, we're going to get better. We're going to get more money from that. There was a meeting we had with executive director of AICO, International Cocoa Organization, where we are trying to set up Africa Cocoa Exchange. It's still at the pilot stage, really. It's in phase 2 of the pilot stage. And who are the countries that are involved? Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Nigeria, and Cameroon. And it will interest you to know that the total world production of cocoa beans, is about 5 million tons. And 60% is being contributed by Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. That means about 3 million from the two countries. Actually, Cote d'Ivoire is the leader. 2.1, 2.2, 800, 900 from Ghana. Nigeria about 350%. So, but is it very good for us to export raw cocoa beans? It will be better for us if we can do value addition, whether we are talking of powder, liquor, cocoa butter. This is going to fetch us more money. And in that interaction that we are actually having, we are looking at also domestic trade, we are looking at cross-border trade. There is exchange in Cote d'Ivoire, there is exchange in Ghana, we have exchanges in Nigeria, but Cameroon, they don't have exchange. So Cameroon is looking at how they could also leverage Nigeria to also do their cross-border trade. And the other issue that will now arise is payment system. So we are looking at leveraging the PAPS, Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, and to be able to see how the trade can be settled in terms of settlement of trade. So there's a lot of things in the offing for us if we lash on these opportunities of AGOA. And also to say that, yes, our lead presenter has mentioned during the course of his presentation that the AGOA will expire by September next year. Yes, but the hope and prayer is that there will be an extension so that we continue to benefit from it and earn our hard currencies. So let's be up and doing. Let us do what is right. Let us also be conscious of the quality. I did some visit to our exhibition stand, and also our Madam Isabella. She's also into fantastic products, value add, value addition, and these are products that can sell anywhere, even in the United States. So we want to take a cue from Madam and encourage every other person around to see what we can do to earn from these things. So let me stop here for now so that we have opportunity for.
A very big round of applause.
Okay.
Powerful.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please, so I don't slight anyone, let me just observe the existing protocol while I recognize the presence of the commissioner representing the governor here, sir. My name is DCQ Siwaikaka. I work for the Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service. I was smiling when Sir was actually making a presentation. He made what was difficult seem very simple. I've been in trade discussions for 2 decades. And I can tell you, there are areas you walk into, everybody's staring at you. Not because they just want to, but because it becomes too technical at certain points. But he had made what appeared difficult, much more a very simple thing. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate it. I think the 2 speakers have said it all. The AGOA is an opportunity for us. It's actually one that we're actually interfacing with the US on it. Like the last speaker said, it's due to expire by 2025, and we're hoping that it's going to be an extension. And it's like somebody telling you, come export whatever you have to my country. It's at 0 duty, 0 tariff. I would also try and reciprocate the same thing. And I can say that it's an opportunity for us to actually draw in the forex that is a major challenge we have at the moment right now. There's a nexus between your exchange rate and the inflationary trend that is at the highest level in the history of this country. This is just one avenue to actually bring in the necessary forex for us that can address our issue. Let me just speak straight to the point, what we do in quarantine as it relates to export. The last speaker did say something. There was a time there was a ban on export of beans out of Nigeria, cowpeas. It was huge investment. It was huge revenue for us, but it was banned from entering the European market. Mind you, the European market is like the largest trading union across the world. If you miss them, you've actually missed a huge chunk of the market that you can derive your forex from. You're also aware when we made an attempt historically to export yam out of this country. Nigeria is the largest producer of yam. Unfortunately, again, we are the largest, one of the world's largest consumers of yam. But then we made an attempt to export yam, and you know the disaster that actually followed them. On these 2 occasions when this thing were actually exported, the quarantine certification was not taken on it, and so nobody mentioned us. What we do where we work is for agricultural commodity, any country you are taking it to, except for personal consumption that is a small quantity, if you get to the airport, wherever you're going to, they will stop you and seize the consignment from you because it is meant to come into their own economy. So you don't take a plant from here and say, when I get there, I'm going to plant it there. That plant could be actually carrying a disease that once it is introduced into their country there, for all you care, the whole of the place is actually gone. And so they expect, as part of the rules of trading under the WTO, that you collect a sanitary and phytosanitary certification to show that this item I am exporting, even if it's on the ship, wherever it is actually free of any known pest that is not common to the country that is actually accepting it. If you do not do that, you also run the risk of losing your investment, as it were. And there are persons who have done that. There is a conflict sometimes in the minds of people that what quarantine does and what NAFDAC does. Perhaps I make that clarification here. Yet NAFDAC does what may appear similar to what we do. They give health certificate. Ours is the phytosanitary certification. What makes us different is if I want to export palm kernel out of this state now to the United States, to the extent to which I have not processed it, if I had made it into oil or something else, you have to come to the quarantine to get the certification. Any agricultural commodity you wish to export that has not really been that so processed. So if you have processed your oil now, you processed your groundnut and it has become, you've extracted oil out of it, you might be talking to an agency. But if it's in the raw form and you want to export it, which often is the case with us, you have to come to the quarantine office to get the necessary certification documents. Our offices are everywhere across the Federation. You have our officers at the airports. You see them in uniforms. Please play along with them. If you have a consignment you want to export, approach our officers, get to our office. Interestingly enough, we made that process very simple. We have an online certification now, ePhyto, that was launched this year. So if you want to export whatever quantity of agricultural produce out of this country, you can log in online, start the process, conclude it and finish it online, and your certificate will be given to you online and delivered ahead of your consignment to the country of destination where you're going to. So it makes trade, so we're trying to facilitate trade as much as possible, reduce the bureaucracy and the bottlenecks that is most characteristics of most government agencies, such that you do not have to interface with us. We only come to inspect the consignments at the aggregation point before you export them out. Today, for instance, Nigeria is making a huge amount of money in billions from hibiscus flower export. There are countries like Mexico that such items are going to. You need to get to us to also help you do the fumigation so that when it gets there, it's not rejected. So our services are actually needed as far as our Greek business is concerned. And it's not a question of other agencies trying to tell you we do what they do, we can actually give you the certification. No, we are the ones that actually signed on behalf of the Nigeria, the International Plant Protection Convention. So we are internationally recognized. And quarantine is not a service that is peculiar to Nigeria. Across the world, there is no country you walk into that is a quarantine officer at the airport to attend to you. And so the service we render is very crucial to this particular thing. To speak of the AGOA, while I begin to wind down, I think, like I said, it's a good opportunity for us to actually lash in on. I don't know how much of it. I know ginger is something that the United States is demanding for. It will interest every one of you to know that Nigeria is the second largest world producer of ginger. So that's a huge market for us. Unfortunately for us, that if you go and check the list of countries that are exporting ginger, Nigeria is just the 10th one. We're not in the 1 to 3. China is one of the leading ones. You know the reason why? Countries who are the leading exporters of this ginger and ginger extracts are countries who have got the value addition they do to it. Ginger is used for, they are used in making perfumes. They are used in confectionaries as well. These countries come, take it from us, take it out, extract the oil out of it, and send it back to the United States, for which is of more, it brings in more value in terms of foreign earnings than the raw thing we are exporting. So the point I'm making is, we have the commodities here, God has blessed us. All we needed to do is to encourage our government to do some serious investment, including the private sector, into value addition technology that will actually help us generate more money. The investor smiles home, the government smiles home, everyone smiles home at the end of the day. To speak about the African Continental Free Trade, it will interest you to know that before that trade came on board, all of us that are members of the African Union are within different regional blocks. There is the SADC, South African Developments, ECOWAS, COMESA, all the rest of them. But we all agreed together and say, look, let us work on this. And the idea is, when we then agreed to start that particular thing, we became the world's largest custom union that can ever be. Africa, as it were. Larger in terms of number of countries that are pool forces together than the European Union that we are currently talking about, that is very big. And that means that if we all join together and do this, the idea of the African Continental Free Trade is, look, we can export amongst ourselves and actually make more money. And evidence has shown that the Europeans you see The Asians, you see, more than 60% of their trading resources done amongst themselves. So we are actually using the resources we have and actually exporting it, and they're bringing us the refined product at the end of the day. And so the African Continental Free Trade is actually a good avenue for us to begin to leverage on the individual capacity of member countries and to see how we can actually begin to export whatever we produce to outside the country. So I don't begin to give another lecture. I want to say this as I conclude, that the current exchange rate, the current deficit we have in terms of our foreign exchange, the government will tell us we don't have a problem in it. When they then begin to say, if you check our debt to GDP ratio or check our whatever we have to whatever ratio, that we are still within the limits of what is happening. Nigeria is in debt, that should be told. And the only way we can come out of it is to actually increase our productions on our export base. See how we can log into the global supply chain. And that is the only way around it. That is the only way, because there is no country in the world that produces or prints another country's currency. The only way you can get it is to sell something to them and you bring in that money. That attempt, if we do it, we address the current situation which we have found ourselves. I can assure you that if we bring down the prices of commodities domestically here, it will reduce the inflation that we are currently fighting at the moment, because if you begin to export things out and you bring in the forex, you will see that the prices of things domestically here, because of the economics of sale, begins to drop down, and we're able to begin to deal with the challenges we're having on ground at the moment. So perhaps I need to say this lastly. We need to encourage the government to also see how they can actually address, yes, invest, export, invest, export, invest, export, but then the business environment is not encouraging. The cost of production in this country is so huge that even if a man opens the window of opportunity to you and say, you can bring in this thing free, the cost of producing it here to then export it to the market just begin to affect our margin of profit, if not wipe it out. On this note, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to be here, and I hope we'll do more than that. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we give a round of applause, Peter? Can we give it, Peter? Welcome, ma'am.
Good day, everyone. I still remain Ambassador Mrs. Christabel Ndubisi. I'm representing the president of the COSIMA, which is the South-South Coalition of the Chambers of Commerce in the 6 states of South-South. And I'm the AGRIBUSINESS chairman of the trade group. Sir, all protocol duly observed, and all members of the high table, I greet you. Sir, I thank you for your presentation and the charge. I saw when you were saying that you were so passionate. I could feel your pulse of the gap that we are leaving behind that needs to be tackled. But in my own little way, I'm speaking as one who has products that are in the US. And that's where I want to charge each and every one of you here, that there are things that we need to do right to make it possible. But if it is possible, sure, it is surely possible. And we are privileged. We are very privileged to be Africans. And we are very privileged to be Nigerians. I tell you that. And so, from the Chambers of Commerce, as our name implies, we are that one-stop shop for you. We have UYO, we have EKETS, we have Oron Chambers of Commerce in the states. We have chambers of commerce in the state. And I will implore you to join the chamber. The chamber, what it can do for you, I can tell you what it has done for me. So if you are in business, or you are aspiring to be in business, or you're aspiring to do what we are talking about today in agri sector, which is where I am heading, I would ask you to please locate any chamber around you and join. There's a movement going on. And with the chamber, you have the government parastatals as collaborators. You have all the windows that you need to be able to equip your capacity to be able to take advantage of all the things that was presented to us today, you have that opportunity. So I will implore you to please locate a chamber and be a member. Your Excellency, sir, I know that these opportunities that are bound, especially in Akwa Ibom, where today I dehydrate afang, I dehydrate editang, I dehydrate all the vegetables, as the SA said, our executive director, secretary said, and all of those things go to United States. Today, you don't need to carry bag anymore with stuffing it into food stuff. You get all of those things fresh. But there are certain limitations that are eminent. I'm talking from an experience. We have logistic challenge. Before we even come to logistic challenge, we have quality standard challenge. And I think where the state government can do a whole lot is to put people in clusters. Create a space like what you call a hub, where people, everybody here is desiring to, but it's not easy to start and finish this process. Most people, if you are not entrepreneurial, you might back out. But that center is a place, a clustered place, where energies are shared, mindsets are reoriented, and capacities are built. So if you have a product, be it in packaging, be it in processing, because we're talking about value addition, that center is capable to build you up. So I think the state government, in the course of doing the investment platform, should also look at that. Where small, and as I was discussing with a lady yesterday who is into adding value to plantain, and one of the constraints she has was power. The constraint of dehydrating the plantain that she has into converting it to plantain flour, she was having that big challenge of power. And so if you have such a center, would be SMEs will be able to leverage the resources available there, be it dehydrators, grinders, as per specification of quality assurance. With SON, with NAFDAC, they can be able to walk in and pay a token and build those things. Such facility will be highly needed in the city like this. And also, sir, you did mention so many opportunities that we can leverage on to increase production, because we can continue to add value. One of the things I know today that is even making the goosey to be very expensive is the diaspora movement. If you see that food stuff is expensive in Nigeria, it's because the people abroad are sucking it. So that's a good one. That means there's a big gap for production. Everything needs to be enlarged, because the population of Nigeria already is a big market, and then come export movement. That means if we are not meeting production to consumption, there will be total hunger in the land. But we don't need that. So what that means to us, instead of us to lament, egusi is now 1,000 a cup. Sir, that investment you're talking about, can we look at production? Just as we said yesterday, we have to mechanize production, we have to increase scope, so that we can meet this demand. We must take advantage of this. And it's sad that we have not, because we've been micro-minded. We've been micro in our thinking. We've been micro in advancing these policies. So we need to take a bull by the horn. And there's a place for government. I won't miss words in that. We need this, concerted effort with deliberate decisions to make sure we move this workforce forward. We don't need handouts anymore. We need to be decisive that this is what we want to do. So come year 2025, in this same roundtable, we can measure it. These are people that came 2024. This is what we did. This is where we are. This is what we have done. So that it becomes very, you'll be accountable for this action. So we need all of this, sir, and so many other things. So if there are needs for, sir, to cluster people who wants activities, we are ready to take that your investment. And it's good news as well to know that you said has 300 million on ground with a bulk purchase order. So we need to look at those orders and disintegrate it and challenge us. If I have 100 women here that want to challenge themselves to this, that come 2025, we have product lined up, fully certified. I am FDA certified. I am FDA certified by any EPC. So it means I have 25 products certified by FDA United States and HACCP to take products to the United States. We can replicate it here. 2025, we'll line up all of you. If you are challenged in this, 100 of you, come out, we will do it. If you know you're not ready to do it, don't come out. So that we can take this and make sure that we can get things done well. I will stop here so that it's not like a crusade. So that we can get going. But there are so many things. There are so many things we can do. There are so many advantages we can take. There are so many opportunities we can take. Let us not stay here and continue to point his finger and continue to call one Satan. There is no Satan other than yourself to make yourself move forward. Let us move forward.
Thank you very much, the fiery ambassador. I love the spirit, and if those words could move, I'm sure the cripple among us will move. So if you did not have the hype, if you did not have the drive, if you did not have the inner pool to get up and act, I think Madam Ambassador has given it to you. And she is a woman. So being a woman is not an impediment or an excuse. If she can do it, you can do it. If she can do it, you can do it. And I, on behalf of government, promise you the support. I know as well as you do that our governor, the executive governor of this state, was, is, and will always be a businessman. So he will not turn his eyes away from business ideas. He will not turn his eyes away from people that are ready to add value, especially women. He will not turn his eyes away from women that are ready to work. He will not turn his eyes away from youth that are ready to work. So the ball is in your court. I, as a ministry head, I have already designed programs and projects that the governor has endorsed. I am praying and I'm sure that we're going to follow through to execution. So please, I want you to package yourselves. I'm ready for some action. I want to thank my big brother, Mr. Manete, for the presentation, for the call to duty, and for the highlight of the possibilities that exist across borders. We can exchange ideas, we can exchange skills, we can exchange agricultural products, we can exchange arts and crafts, we can exchange anything that we have that is of value across the borders for our own benefit, especially if those things will yield mutual benefits between yourselves and the other parties across the border. I want to thank every presenter so far, my big brother Manete, and every contributor to the discourse. and my ambassador, who is always injecting some volcano into the discourse. Thank you, Ma, for coming all the way, spending hours on the road to get here, and I hope your trip back will be smoother. Thank you. MC?
There couldn't be a better session. Can we do a bigger round of applause? Very great landing there. Thank you so very much. And thank you, Honorable Commissioner, for giving it a final touch of excellence. Did we enjoy that particular session? Did it add value? Are we willing to engage? Like we said yesterday, this particular roundtable is not about the people who are seated up here. It is also about us, the quality of contacts. So you don't leave the roundtable without constructively engaging these contacts. So those are not contacts you ask them for money for burials and child dedication. No, you don't ask those contacts for handouts. Those are contacts for strategic business engagements. You don't text them, you don't call them except when it is necessary. Because once you have abused a contact, you can't get it back. There are people I don't pick on the phone for one abuse because you had made one request that wasn't necessary. So every time I see your call, I remember that you are one person who likes to disturb. All of us behave that way. There are phone calls we are reluctant to pick because those people abuse access. So please, at this conference, this roundtable, don't abuse access. Engage access. Get to talk with the people who are engaging, and then you can see that both you and the person can have a mutual benefit of each other's services. Thank you very much for that great panel, Dr. Manete. Thank you very much. We appreciate you for leading that charge. But in the course of that, we had some great people join us there. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, of course, very competently represented by Mr. Charles, is back here with us. Can we give him a very, very big round of applause, please? Our Minister, join us here on the head table. Can we clap for him? Let's clap for him as he launches back on the head table. We are also happy to welcome back that round of applause was not ministerial enough. Can we do it later? Every representative, thank you very much. We also have a great son of Akwa Ibom State, a man we are very, very proud to celebrate. We like to see the fact when he's home like this, we don't joke with him. I hope he's going to go back with some good bundles of fish and afang back to Abuja. Former Howard, former Unical, former Secretary Interparliamentary Relations and Protocol, our own permanent Secretary at the National Assembly, Mr. Godwin Okonepewan. Can we please appreciate it? Even as we invite you, please come over to the head table. Any Malabards in the hall? Anybody from the Malabar Republic? This is your own here. Please give him a big round of applause. Any Woodwardell in the building? Any Spago? Who are you? Ah! Spago! Only one person. We celebrate you, thank you very much. And also the national president of the Maize Association, he was fantastic yesterday. Took us through the entire journey and allowed us to understand why we have enough maize and why we don't have enough maize. I'm still going over the minutest details of what he gave yesterday, and we are also tapping into his wisdom even today. Dr. Bello Ano, can we please give him a very big round of applause to celebrate you? Thank you very much. If you are comfortable there, you can be seated there. I think the head table is already very filled up. Also very delighted to welcome one of our royal fathers who has joined us here. Okay, there is a chair, please, for you. We still want to have you up here, our national president of the Maize Association of Nigeria. Very fine farmer, farmer with swagger, farmer with steez. Let's clap for him. Let's appreciate him. Welcome, sir. The village head of Ukaribium in Surubium Rural Government Area and member of the Surubium Traditional Rulers Council, Etiridon Usoro Basi, is here. Let's clap for Etiridon. You are most welcome. Thank you very much. God bless you for coming through for us. Dr. Howard wanted to also make some closing comments as we round off that particular session. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. It's not a big comment. The ambassador said it's like a crusade. But it's not a crusade. I say it's a crusade. With due respect to the Honorable Commissioner that is representing His Excellency, and there's high people on the table, kudos. I want to say that for people to move from one level to another, it takes mental change, it takes a mindset shift. If this is going to be a gospel, so be it. You cannot talk about agriculture today without people raising their ear, because that is the future. I'm telling us today here that climate change is here with us. Insecurity is here with us. Scarcity of food is here with us. Hunger is here with us. The only solution to that problem is agribusiness. Why is agribusiness important? Because agribusiness means prosperity. If you do agriculture and stop at agriculture, you struggle. Agribusiness is the commercial aspect of agriculture. That is where the value chain comes in. That is where the millions comes in. Anytime economy is depressed, the next line of business is export. Are we together? No matter the kind of programs that will be designed by World Bank, IMF, and the federal government, if the people themselves do not come together to benefit from the initiative, nothing will change. Yes. So when we have this kind of gathering, we should be able to say, how do I move from where I am now to the next level? That's why that's the reason you have conferences. So I'm telling us here today, the award that is going to end in 2025, there's still time. There's still time. Yes, so during network session, we're going to look at what are the immediate steps we can take to be part of that lucrative market. Who should we talk to? And we have a point person in the US, we have a point person in Nigeria, we have a point person in government, and we set that committee, open a WhatsApp group that will drive that. And we bring people like quarantine service in that committee and make it a specialized committee. It's not a committee for you to post that you're doing a white wedding or something, specifically export. And then when we look at, someone presented something that has to do with livestock, how we can reduce costs and save the country from all this crisis that has to do with leaders. Someone called me from Abuja, can you bring them up to Abuja? That the Minister of Livestock would like to have a session with them. I said, we're still in session this moment, and I can't bring them. But at the end of the meeting, we're going to also set up a committee in that area and report back to the Minister of Livestock. Then the Minister of Niger Development wrote a letter to His Excellency that is going to be here. But the change of government and problem at the airport, I want to really tell us that this house would have been fully packed. My permanent secretary, my director had to turn back from the airport, and several MDs. Anytime we do a program of this nature, we also have, UNIDO, who's a technical partner of NADI. But they're not here because of disruptions at the airport between Saturday and Sunday. So as the event comes to an end, don't rush to go. We're going to have critical people address you, look at your problems. What can we do to support you from this level to the next level? What are the challenges? What can we do? And then we're going to address the problem of funding. They say funding. If I ask you, If you want to fund you today, what do you have? Nothing. So I want to say thank you very much, Dr. Mane Tete, for that wonderful talk on FTA. We're going to do more. We're going to engage you more by having people relate with you, both in the US here, so that we can take these to the next level. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak.
Let's appreciate Dr. Howard Wilson. Thank you very much for that very refreshing addition. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to succeed as a business person, as an entrepreneur, there are two things that we must note, which Dr. Wilson just crashed. The skill and your skill and the business of the skill. There are two different things. Being a medical doctor and medicine or medical business are two different things. Being a lawyer and legal business are two different things. You can be an excellent lawyer, but can you run a chamber? Can you coordinate cases and manage your law office? It is the same with being a farmer. You can be an excellent farmer, but not a good agribusiness person. Because it is the business that will drive the farm. It is the business that determines what you plant. Most of the things that we plant are planted via emotions. They say, okay, it is cassava season, so let's plant cassava again. It's plantain season or maize season or corn season, let's plant it again. So we continue to do things repeatedly out of emotions, not influenced by the market. Because it is the market that will determine how you plant it. Okay, the watermelon you are planting, how do people like it? Do they like the small bulbs or do they like it big? The cucumber you are planting, what is the response from the market? I don't eat the large ones. It is the small ones that I like. There are people who like the very big ones. So you must determine which one sold last year better than this year. So that determines the kind of cucumbers that you will plant. So the essence of conferences like this is to open up your minds to the reality of the market. You will discover that maybe why you didn't sell last year wasn't even cost of production, wasn't even the logistics. It was that you were just planting the wrong thing. Now you have heard ginger. If I was a farmer planting or ready to plant, having heard ginger, that Nigeria is the second largest producing country and we have a deficit in getting this product out or getting the second level, which is a refined product, to get value. Even if I don't take action immediately, I'll think about it. Can I develop a new ginger farm? Can I find out where ginger can grow? Where does it come in? There were times that tomatoes were not planted in this part of the world, but now we have tomatoes in Cross River, in Delta, in Akwa Ibom, and all over the South. There were periods that all the other crops were not planted here, but people took the bull by the horn, and today, with irrigation and the other mechanism, we have those things actually coming up. So we are very grateful that we are taking advantage of the realities that we have on the ground to take advantage of all of this. So the next session will still be on export, because this is where the money is. And in agriculture, we follow the money, because when the money is good, the farming will be good. So we'll be engaging sustainable agricultural practices for export development and market penetration. I've actually attended a couple of master classes on exports. Many of our products don't pass the test because of the pesticides, the chemicals that we apply on them. They are good for our market, but they cannot be consumed outside of here because we apply many things that do not pass. Not that those things are harmful to the crops. They just simply do not pass through some of the international obligations to many countries. So I'm sure we are going to learn about some of those sustainable agricultural practices and this will be championed by the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, and then the other discussants will follow suit. I don't know whether we have the Consumer Protection Commission still here with us. Consumer Protection, are they still here? This will be an opportunity. We had this lady from Maritime. She should be joining the discussions at this occasion. Nigeria Office for Trade Negotiation, are we still here? Export Processing Zone Authority, are we still here? Otherwise, we may have to adapt under the Customs Service. Then we have the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, NEPC. Are we still here to lead this presentation? Okay, very well, sir. So you are the lead charge. I'd love to co-opt again the president of the Maize Association, being one of the major crops that we actually export. So please also lead this discussion, and being someone who has also been involved in key policy and actual practice to guide us through the discussions. You may not be a maize farmer, but whatever applies to maize is likely to apply to your own crop or to the own service that you are ready to export. So when you are listening to a particular person in one field talk, apply the same principle in your own field, and you would see that that will go absolutely very, very well for us. And we had actually learned so much on that. We'll also love the Presidential Amnesty Program, the representative to also be part of this discussion, Honorable Engineer Dwan, Governor. Please also add perspectives. Let's also see how we can tap in from what the federal government is doing on how we can engage in developing agribusiness, which is tilted towards export in the country. We have two panelists. We just need one more. Sorry, madam, I didn't get your name again. You will join in the discussion. Please come forward to the front and sit down. Let's invite Nigeria Export Promotion Council to lead the charge in this discourse. Please, Dr. Manete is the elder statesman. That's why it took all that time. Please, sir, just in 5 minutes, you can lead the charge so that the other discussants can take it from there.
Thank you very much.
I think we can give him a big round of applause. Let's appreciate him as he takes charge.
His Excellency the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, sir, ably represented by the Honorable Commissioner, Trade and Investment, members of the head tables, please permit me to stand on well-established protocols. My name is Architect Benedict Tigbe. I'm the South-South Regional Coordinator of Nigerian Export Promotion, here representing the Executive Director of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. I have a presentation here to make. I'll try to be very brief. It's about sustainable agricultural practices and best practices for agricultural export development and market penetration. I'm very pleased that we're having this conversation about the difference between agriculture and agribusiness. Agriculture is now big business. And we are also having a conversation about sustainability in agriculture. There are mitigating factors that are creating scarcity of agricultural products, creating food insecurity. The climate change is a threat for those who are not prepared. Where there is scarcity, there is also opportunity. Because when things get scarce, they become expensive. I'll give you an example. Cocoa was around a year and a half ago, cocoa was about $2,200 on the spot market, in the futures market. And today, we've seen cocoa rise to up to $11,000. A lot of farmers have been smiling to the farm. Why did that happen? This volatility in the commodity market is a function of scarcity. There was a drop in the production of cocoa in Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana because of swollen pond. I am a cocoa expert from the NEBC and I represent the Council on the National Cocoa Management Committee. And this phenomenon is being closely monitored even as we are trying to explore how to protect the economy from such shocks of fluctuations. But we should also see how we can leverage the opportunities that come with commodity rises. One of the things I can tell you about any business, agribusiness, is about making profits. What's the return on investment? When you have capital and you want to do a business, export business, local business, you have a lot of options. So one of the things you want to do is to carry out an evaluation to know where you are going to get the highest return on investment. I want to thank the gentleman from the president of the Maize Association. He did something that I took note of yesterday. I told my officer in UYO that he gave us a breakdown, quantitative breakdown, what it costs if you invest 600,000 in maize. He told us how much you are going to make after 4 months. And I now did the deduction. He said 1.5 million, 900,000 spread over 4 months. I was able to get the return on investment after each month. This is the way we need to go about evaluating export prospects and local prospects for export, agricultural prospects. When you are able to carry out that quantitative analysis, you are able to compare different business prospects across different exportable products, vis-a-vis all the various factors that can influence your decision to pick up a particular product to export. Now we are hearing about the agro opportunities. Do we have an evaluation and assessment of the market trends? Which of these commodities are we seeing a significant surge in demand? Do we have a critical analysis of why that surge is there? Is it sustainable? What are the margins between the international price and the local price here? Who are the competitors in that space? What's their competitive edge? How can we position our own brand in that space? By the time we are able to do that evaluation of the value chain for egusi, for sesame seed, for ginger, for shea butter, for cocoa, these are all products that go to the US market. For hibiscus, you'll be able to know where to narrow because resources are limited. If you want to invest as a state, you have to pick 1 or 2 as a pilot and also as a proof of concept. When you see prosperity coming in, you can now cascade that framework to other commodities. So, sustainable agriculture is a conversation about adopting practices that let us grow food, fiber, and other products in ways that respect the environment. It's not just about immediate production, it's about ensuring we continue to produce for generations without degrading the land, water, air, and we rely on. The truth is that if you have a fishing pond and you deplete it because you are only thinking about wealth creation of today, tomorrow, one day you will come to that pond and there's no fish to reproduce itself. You have depleted that resource. So that approach to economic development without a futuristic mindset is a danger. It's a losing game. The world has moved beyond just mass production for economic benefit of today. We are talking about sustainable agricultural practices for future generations. This conversation on sustainable agriculture is an emergency because it has become part of the conversation around competitiveness. In the international market, there is a new consciousness about giving a premium for products that are sustainably sourced. If you don't have deforestation-free production, your business does not have a future. The world is becoming interested in protecting the forest. Climate change is a reality. We had flooding. We had a recent cyclone in the US that ravaged the southwest coast of the US and Cuba. and it was the greatest disaster. We've had flooding in Kenya, even in Nigeria. So in the AFDB, we keep talking about how are we going to do climate adaptation, mitigation, and resilience of agriculture. So we need to start having that conversation now and factoring it into our agricultural practice and our business models for agriculture. Next slide, please. So competitiveness, you cannot talk business without talking competitiveness. You cannot talk exports without talking competitiveness. If your landing price of your product in the US is more than that is coming from Ghana, if it's a commodity, people will buy the one coming from Ghana. Nobody wants to hear your excuses. So are we doing value chain analysis to evaluate and establish where are the bottlenecks in these value chains? Where is the friction? As a function of social development, empowering small businesses, how can the government come in to reduce these frictions and remove those bottlenecks? So competitiveness is a very important factor in export business. Market orientation, like I said earlier on, you must have an eye on the market. Business is about solving problems. Gone are the days where you see somebody who is exporting something and is doing well, you want to go into it. No, you can't go into that line. You must have an eye on the market. The global market trends, today's technology has made it possible that you can track and follow global market trends. One quick tool I can present to you is the ITC trade map. On the ITC, International Trade Center trade map, if you Google it, you will be able to go and see on time series, last year, the year before that, which countries were exporting which products to which country, at what rate, in what volume. And this information is free. So we need to leverage understanding of the market. You must build from the market backward to the farm. So when you identify a gap in the market that you are uniquely empowered or disposed to address better than your competitors, that should be the basis, that is the starting point for developing a business model. There's a new policy in the European Union called the European Union Deforestation Regulation. It's a policy that is banning any product that is a product of deforestation. This is very important because we're in the South-South, we're in the forest zone. There's a lot of deforestation going on in the South and the Southwest. But the European Union Deforestation Regulation means that anything that is produced from any product that is not deforestation free cannot come into Europe if deforestation took place after 2020. Both the commodity and anything that is produced from the commodity. This is a conversation that is being had all over the world. Coffee, there are 7 products: coffee, cocoa, rubber, timber, soybean, oil palm, leather, and others. So when we talk sustainability, these are part of the challenges that we need to address. These are the sustainability issues. Next slide, please. So what are sustainable agricultural practices? There are others beyond forest issues. There is soil conservation. These are also competitiveness matters, issues that address the final cost or the final price of your product. We are in an age of precision farming, where people are able to manage and conserve resources that are used or inputs in the farming process in order to be more competitive in the market. So when you are talking about protecting the soil, when you are talking about protecting the ecosystem, we are talking about agricultural practices, we talk about mixed cropping in order to improve crop biodiversity and protect the soil. We also talk about water management, which addresses the issue of boosting the yield of your farms. For the footprint of the farms we have, a lot of these farms can even double their yield, the current footprint, if they adopt some of these good agricultural practices. We also have conversation around integrated pest management, which some of us have addressed. How are we able to leverage our unique advantage of organic produce? There is a premium for organic certified produce. That means that you can get a higher price for having some of these certifications, like organic certifications. And that gives you an edge or a compensation for not using uh, most of these fertilizers, too much of those fertilizers. So integrated management tries to use natural processes to mitigate extensive use of herbicides and fertilizers and other farm inputs. I've talked about yield optimization through precision farming, very important. As we are trying to increase our farm footprints, we should also be thinking about optimizing the yield of the current footprint we have. The Food and Agriculture Organization is doing a lot of extensive work right now in the South and the Southwest, introducing new best practices for agriculture in these zones where there is a high risk of soil degradation and forest degradation. So these are opportunities that if we are able to reposition our agricultural businesses, you can command a premium in international markets for these best practices. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. I want to go to the slides that talk about market penetration. Okay, look, the preceding slide. So I've been able to touch on sustainability issues and why they are becoming increasingly important. The gentleman from the Commodity Exchange spoke about price discovery, how we are trying to bring more structure or remove fragmentation of the market, especially the local value supply chains, so that at every point in time you can be able to have a reliable information about what the prices are, how to source commodities, and you can use that to strengthen your business operations. I'm aware of the cocoa commodity exchange project, and we are really excited to see how we can build traceability into it, because traceability is another way to decommoditize. Decommoditization, I mean, when you have a generic commodity that does not have any unique properties, you are at the mercy, you are a price taker. The international fluctuating market price is what you depend on. But once you add a layer of value that differentiates your product, even though it's a commodity, either by these certifications about traceability, about organic, this Rainforest Alliance, Fair Trade, these certifications now give your product access to a niche market, because there are people that are conscious of these social issues and sustainability issues. There are consumers in the West that will willing to pay a premium for that. So these niche markets are an opportunity to counterbalance some of the infrastructure deficits that we are facing here. So when we talk about best practices for market penetration, we're talking about how do you optimize your footprint in the international market? How do you increase the visibility of your brand? How do you identify your customers? How do you project your value proposition, your unique selling point? The gentleman who was with the moderator, he was speaking about value addition, and the gentleman from Nexim also spoke about value addition yesterday. Please, it's very, very important that we think about processing these agricultural commodities. When you process and add value to agricultural commodities, you command a higher premium. There is a higher margin for value-added products. You also build your brand. You can now brand your product if it is facing a consumer. So you are not selling to a business, you are selling to a consumer. Your brand power, your brand equity can be used to expand your business at a faster rate. So we are very much working with Exim to see how we can have more cottage industries, more SMEs adding value to products, processing cocoa to cocoa butter, cocoa liquor, generating seed oils instead of just exporting the seeds. And there it's easier to get export finance, and it's also better, it's a more stable business because you are not exposed to the volatility of the international commodity market. Another way is certifications, like I already said. How are we going to, like Madam mentioned, we have helped a lot of exporters to get FDA certification, HACCP, Halal, USDA, Organic, ISO. We have export market access program for that. Every year we advertise and invite people to get this certification. We support them because we want them to be champions of what is possible with these certifications. Our approach to export now is evidence-based and data-driven. How do we build more resilient supply chain? How do we increase our footprint in the market with technology? We talk about digital marketing and e-commerce. When you have a brand and you are marketing your brand and you want to be competitive, you have to explore digital marketing and e-commerce. It ranges from your social media marketing to your website, to your Google business profiling, search engine optimization, search engine marketing. People don't understand how powerful these tools are, especially for small businesses. There are small businesses that have a footprint that just half of this hall in China, in India, even in Nigeria, but their products, their share butter is going to the US, India, in small quantities, they are going all over the world, they are going global. And those businesses are more bankable. What happens is that you have a unique selling position, a unique value proposition. When you are starting a branded business, you are asking yourself, why do I want to join millions of other people that are making shea butter creams? You must be able to find a gap in the market that you are uniquely going to address. And when you identify that niche you want to serve in that market, digital marketing helps you through some of the trend analysis software. You can be able to know in which country, the states in those countries where people are running searches on Google to know more about how they can source that product. For example, if it's a Nigerian business and you are shea butter, Google Trend will tell you in which state in Nigeria where you have the highest search for butter. It's an indication that there is a demand for it. And it works. So when you are designing your business strategy, when you identify those states, you can now design your market penetration strategies to address those states or those countries. So what I'm trying to say now is that you have a surer bet if you use technology to study your market. You build your business from the market backward to your product. You adapt your product to the market. And then you expand your business by digital marketing, making the world know that your brand is in the market, explaining why your brand is unique, why it exists, what is the unique value proposition, and what is your brand promise. And you are able to interact with your customers through your social media handles. User-generated content is able to help you to know how to improve your brand. So these competencies are things you can get through export clusters. We are working on creating clusters of exporters where, especially small businesses, some of you may not be able to address some of these requirements on your own as small exporter. But when you come together as a cluster, NEPC will be willing to work with you, mentor you, and support you to provide these business development services. You can create a business development unit at the center of that cluster, identify professionals, IT professionals, lawyers for structuring your business, accountants for your bookkeeping, so that your business is bankable, so that you are keeping your books, you understand your revenue, your cash flow. These things are very important. If there's a banker here, he will tell you that these are some of the things that they will consider if you come to a bank for a loan. So we must bring more structure to our businesses. Next slide, please. On this slide, I've posted the top 20 exports of last year, 2023. It's all part of the data analysis. The data should speak to the exporting community, should speak to the private sector, should speak to public institutions when strategizing on how to prioritize what export sectors to focus on. You will look at the list, you will see that urea is our number one export, 20% of our export value, courtesy of Dangote, Indorama, and some of the countries that few businesses that are exporting urea fertilizer. Cocoa is number two. Cocoa beans alone is 13%. Sesame seed is 9%. Soya beans is 8%. Number 5 is cashew nuts and kernels. I will skip number 6, aluminium. I'll go to hibiscus, which is number 7, where we do about $140 million, which is roughly about 300 billion naira. On that list, you will also see, if I want to look at products that are in the south, you will see cocoa beans at number 2. You will see we have potential for ginger in the south. Ginger is at number 17. You will see rubber. Rubber is at number 16. And then you will see frozen foods at number 15. And the reason why I got this is that evidence-based, if somebody else is doing it, whether it's from the northeast or northwest or southwest, if there is movement of a product, like Madam talked about egusi, it shows you that it's a sector you should be looking at. You know, instead of going to look for, and another factor is, what is the global market size of that particular sector? So, a few years ago, we came up with our 11 priority products, where we talked about which are the big ticket exportable products from Nigeria. So, you know that there is a big pie that you want to get a slice of. Instead of looking into those smaller pies and committing so much resources, then you get there to the market, there are so many competitors on a very small pie. So the big pies, we talk about cocoa, which is doing about 50 billion, chocolate is doing about 120, the entire cocoa industry is about 200. We talk about oil palm, it's in that range. Oil palm and its derivative is doing over 50 billion. We talk about sesame seed is not at that level, but it's a market that has opened up in Nigeria very quickly. Soya beans too has shot up. Sesame seed, soya beans, and hibiscus, they are doing very well. So even though they are not big tickets globally, you know, but the addressable market is stable and is growing. You also have leather, fashion, textile industry. I mean, that's an industry. Global fashion industry is up to $1 trillion. You know, and then service industry is also in that range. But we're talking about agriculture. Leather is part of agriculture. Garments, there are organic garments, cotton and likes. So rubber is also a big ticket sector globally. So if you look at data, you do your data analytics, you can start from that point to identify sectors that you need to prioritize for long-term sustainable and market resilience and competitiveness, because it's a big addressable market. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. I hope I have not lost. I hope we are following. Okay. So these slides are just showing you some of the products that we are exploring in Nigeria, agricultural products at NAPC, and the markets where we can address. But one approach I would like to explore, especially as most of the states in the South are working on a state export strategy in one form or the other. I'm aware that the World Bank sponsored a framework for states to have to mainstream non-oil exports through state export strategies as part of their disbursement-linked indicators in the World Bank Saver program. So we are interested to see how those state export strategies will be able to to mainstream non-oil export as an economic enabler, and how we are able to identify priority products and do value chain analysis to see how we can introduce many of our women, our youths into those value chains, and our processors and businesses into those value chains. Next slide. So NEPC, I wouldn't say so much without talking about some of the things NEPC can do to assist the state. NEPC partners with trade associations to improve seedlings as proof of concept as demonstration projects to assist the states to observe the improved yield and competitiveness, that are coming with those new technologies. We also support the states in cooperative formations, because it's easier to empower cooperatives than to empower exporters on one-on-one. You can use an online platform to deploy online training and all of that. So we also support in certifications, like I said, non-mandatory certification support, and Madam Isabel graciously alluded to that. We also provide export incentives, and we continue to review and enhance those exports and adapt them to the current realities facing the sector. We have very intentional programs on women and youth empowerment that we work very closely with the ITC. ITC is very committed and generous in its funding to support women and youth, empowering women and youth, and we are their strategic partner in Nigeria. So we have a lot of programs around that. And then, very importantly, we recently set up domestic export warehouses. There are about 13 that have been approved around the country. They are bonded aggregation centers, one-stop shops, where when your product comes there, we support you with your documentation, and then you can have the pre-shipment inspection agents inspect, and you stop your container, it's sealed, and nobody opens it till it gets to the port and not to the ship. So we believe that that is a way to reduce the logistic bottlenecks and costs that have to do with export business. We have also set up export trade houses in strategic regional markets. We have one in China, we have one in East Africa, in Kenya, we have one in Togo for the West African region, we have one in Egypt, and we are setting up one in Dubai and South Africa. So what we are doing is that they are our agents. It's a public-private partnership. They are our agents in those regions where they can support us in market research, market intelligence, and address other technical and non-tariff barriers to access of Nigerian produce into those markets. Next slide, please. So these are a couple of our activities according to our 4 pillars. 4 pillars: encouraging new exporters, especially SMEs, supporting regular sustainable exports. We are on a double your export campaign. Recently, we invited the top 30 exporters in Nigeria to Lagos, and we are engaging exporters directly to see how we can strengthen their businesses, expand their businesses, providing that level of direct engagement to see how we can support them in expanding their businesses. I would say there's also a new law, Business Facilitation Act, which was championed by our current minister designate, our current minister of Ministry of Trade and Investment, while she was with PEDEC. And that law identifies federal government institutions that are touch points for exporters or businesses in Nigeria, and we try to strengthen them, increase their contactless services, and their dispute redress mechanisms. A lot has been done. We just finished our 90-day reform accelerator, where we were able to x-ray each of these institutions and strengthen their systems in order to serve Nigerian businesses better. And there is also a component of that project where an omnibus bill is sent every 2-3 years to improve their laws or enabling acts where possible to make sure that it is not a barrier to improve supporting their services to business. I just wanted to mention that. So we also look at strategic partnerships. Next slide, please. So this is a matrix of other agencies that are involved in export businesses. Some of them are rendering similar services to NEPC. These are, some of them are the traditional members of the State Committee on Export Promotion. The slide will be available for you to see what services they render, so you can approach them. And if you are not able to get good feedback from them, if you let us know, we will engage them, especially if you have an export cluster. Your cluster head will channel those issues to us, and we have direct access to those agencies to serve you better. Next slide, please. So that's the conclusion of the slide. In parting, the last thing I want to say is technology is making a difference all over the world. There was a time when America had an edge because they had the desktop computers and they had the internet, and Africa did not have it, and they had more competitiveness than Africa because of that. But after making all that investment in infrastructure and technology, today we now have mobile first. People can do what they used to do on their desktop on the phone. So what happened is that Africa leapfrogged the desktop generation of business, and people are managing their businesses on their mobile phone. What I'm trying to say is that when we talk about sustainability trusts and policies are pointing to the future. A lot of business models that we have now, 80% or 90% of them are going to crash very soon. Already we see what's happening with fuel. We are moving to CNG. The world is moving to renewable or clean gas, clean solar energy sources. The same thing is going to happen in most of the business. We're not talking about smart businesses, smart value chains. We need to be part of that conversation from now. Leverage technology for digital marketing, leverage technology, data analysis for identifying markets and strengthening your value chain, because others are doing it. And if you don't do it, you will be at an disadvantage, and the international market is not biased. Competitiveness is king. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow, that was a very comprehensive one. All of us should be given diploma certificates in exporting, because we have been fully drilled on export development. Can we put our hands together for the Nigeria Export Promotion Council for that very elaborate presentation? That presentation is available. You can take it. It's a very valuable resource to look at and ponder on. Please ask for those slides from the organizers. It is available for you and will be transferred to you accordingly. I didn't know that this gentleman was so loaded. I told him 5 minutes. It took 1 hour. God bless him for interpreting my 5 minutes in such an expanded way. But we thank him very seriously. So since he has taken quite a lot of time, we'll just be taking very small snippets, because that presentation has covered the entire subject area on export. In fact, after now, if you refuse to export, you are the cause. We've given you enough information to drive you into the export zone. The CEO of Bright Flow Logistics Services, who is also the branch chairman, Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, Dr. Anie Fiok Iton. Please let's give this lady a very big round of applause. She's the one who has joined us, so she will chip in something on transportation and logistics. And then yesterday we had the Commissioner of Police. Today we have the Civil Defense who are here. And Rivers State has taught us that if you can't get the police well, the Civil Defense can be your very good friends. I will end the story there, but those who understand. So I love the Civil Defense now. If the police refuses to be your friend, the Civil Defense can also be your friend. So will you be our friend? Okay. Someone has to be your friend. I hope the policemen will always be our friends. So, Dr. Nefio, please, 2 minutes, not the version of the export zone. Just very briefly give us your own take on this agribusiness. Please come forward. Let's see your face. Because she's a lady, we want to see her face. Please, can we give her a big round of applause as she chips in her contribution?
Thank you so much. All right, the Honorable Commissioner, members of the I table, invited guest participants, everyone, all protocol observed. My name is Dr. Anyefiop Iton, the author of the book Fundamentals of Maritime Business, Trade and Logistics. So I am the logistic guru in the house. So when we talk about agribusiness, anything that has to do with business is trading of products and services. Am I communicating? Trading of your products and services. And in logistics, we consider domestic, regional, and international trade. And the only thing that can make you to be a participant of this business is logistics, because you can't remain in your house, to be heard, seeing all your products discovered. So we have now come to a realization that without logistics and transport, you will remain where you are. All over the globe now, everybody is talking about logistics. You can stay in your house here in Nigeria or here in UYO and communicate with someone in China, then move your product. Your product can get to China without you. All is about logistics. So now, maritime logistics and international trade covers almost all areas of export and import. But today we're going to look at briefly, all that it takes for you to move your product, both within the domestic region, regional, and international. Now, looking at all the product that is within our disposal here in the South, we've come to realize that we have a lot of product deposits in the South, both the farmland that we have, fertile farmland that we have to produce all kinds of produce, then the deposit of solid minerals and all of that. But one thing I have come to see is the constraint that farmers used to have in terms of making the business. The agri program turned out to be a business for them, which number one is information and documentation. What do I mean by documentation? For instance, when the director of agri investment yesterday was doing his presentation, I saw that he mentioned a whole lot of products that we can see here in Akwa Ibom. And today too, the Export Promotion Council just made the same presentation as well. But where we have a problem is for you to discover a product, adopt a product, and make a product to be your personal product. How do you do that? There's something in logistics we call HS code. How many people have heard of that word before? HS code. This is sad. You need logistics, sir, in whatever you are doing in agri. Because without HS code, you can't move your product to anywhere. The first thing for you to know that you actually have a product is for you to know the HS code of that product. For instance, palm fruit alone, a single palm fruit that you hold in your hands, has more than 20 products in it. Do we believe that? It has more than 20 products in it. Now, you can use the HS code for palm oil to describe palm fruit. There are different HS codes. You can use the product for palm kernel to describe palm kernel shell. There are different HS codes. You can use a product HS code for palm kernel cake to describe palm kernel oil. So now, how do you know that? First of all, is at least for you to get knowledge that every product has its own HS code. That A stands for harmonize. Then S is system, harmonized system code. That harmonized system code is created by World Chambers of Commerce together with International Trade Center. They come up with some code that describes a product, so that me seeing your code, no matter where you stay, I know exactly the products that you're talking about. I can stay here, you just send a single digit to me, and we know that this product is this. So that is, logistics is not just about moving product through your transportation from one place to another. It has to do with documentation as well. And every exporter that comes to me have that single problem, which is documentation. documentation. And before you can even think of going global, you know that there are, policies that you must abide. One of them is standardization. You must make your product up to standard. What particular document do you need to assess a particular region or country? For instance, just recently, I had a deal to export cocoa to China. At the verge of signing our own agreement, the client asked me, do you have GACC? I said, what is GACC? Because I didn't know until the man now has to explain that there is a law now in China. Before you can export food and food product to China, you must have GACC. That is General Administration of Chinese Customs. General Administration of Chinese Customs. If you don't have that certificate, you can't export even your cocoa beans or anything to China. Same thing with those that are intending to send their product to US. You must have what we call FDA, Food and Drugs Administration. It's just like somebody importing to Nigeria that NAFDAC will ask you, where is your NAFDAC number? So those are the cross-border policies that you must know before you think of going global. So another thing is that when we talk about documentation, it's not just about the quality document or standard document. There are also some certain document too that is required of you as an agri trader to come up with, which is your own product packing list and product commercial invoice. How do you create your commercial invoice? Because before you think of going global, you must have a document. Now, your trader doesn't want to see your face, they want to see your document. And you must know how to create this document. Very important. A lot of customers or clients will come and say, I have some cocoa or palm oil to send to China or Australia. I will ask them, where is your packing list and invoice? They don't have. So you don't even know the weight of what they are going to take to China. You don't even know the description, because you must describe your product to suit your HS code. Like I said, you cannot come up with raw palm oil and give us an HS code for refined palm oil. There are two different products. So it's very important that anybody that is intentional about doing agribusiness must, get conversant with all of these things, which is logistics and international trade policies. And there's something recently while I was writing this book that I've come to create what I call product of products. It's like the multiplication theory of mathematics, by which you use one factor to multiply into different numbers. Some of you are mathematicians in the house, am I right? So in product, it's also the same thing. If you want to, you're intentional about being an exporter, you must, discover a product, first of all. Now, in 2021, a client came from Japan and wanted to export some palm kernel shell. And how many people knows that the catchment area for palm kernel shell is the South-South, which Kwai Bobusera and Cross River has the greatest deposit of that product. And we signed a deal and we were ready to do business. The only constraint we had was on the area of logistics, because we were looking for trucks to move palm kernel shell from Akwa Ibom here to the ship side at Onesi port. We didn't see. We had to wait for some trailers to come from Kano, from the north, before we could, move those products. And we couldn't catch the vessel. And we had to pay a lot of damages. We lost so much money just because of logistics. So without logistics, you are not intentional yet about doing business, and you can't even move your product from your farm. There's something we call, supply chain management. How do you manage the entire process from the farm gate to the processing factory or warehouse, to the ship side or to the point of consumption or final destination? All of that, you need logistics. And you must detail all kinds of, facility that you've used. Is it a mini bus? Is it a trailer? Is it a bicycle? You must detail in your point of documentation. So maritime logistics is where we move you to go global. Another constraint we have is that there are no facilities. Like we talk about value addition. How do you add value without having a processing factory? We can sit here all day talk about agribusiness. We can't continue to export our raw material. In fact, all over the world, it's only Africans that export raw material. Raw material is like gold for those that are intentional about production. Now, when we talk about cocoa alone, like just like palm fruit, has a lot of products in it. But till tomorrow, Nigerians are still exporting cocoa beans. They're still exporting raw cocoa beans. Whereas out of that, we can get cocoa powder, cocoa oil, cocoa butter, and all of that. And without a processing factory, a single farmer won't be able to get all of that because facilities are expensive. Yesterday, while I walked into the hall, where we had our exhibition site, I saw a lady with beautiful product. I just walked up to her and checked the back of that product. I didn't see anything like nutritional facts. And I asked her why. She said she doesn't know where to, take the product for test so that she will be able to get the nutritional fact. And also, I checked her packaging, and all of that. I asked her, what's the HS code of your product? She didn't know. So we should be very intentional about bringing a logistic consultant like us to teach the farmers. Those are where the entire business starts. For you to know the kind of products you are exporting or you've discovered and the right document that is needed for you to go global. Thank you so much.
Very, very practical, and we appreciate that. Dr. from Eton. I'm sure if we gave her 2 hours, she will hold you spellbound on logistics and excite your interest to begin to think about going into export. Let's hear now from our new friend from the civil defense, security. And security is not long talk, sir.
Very
One
brief.
straight to the point.
Thank you very much. I seek to rely and adopt the protocol already established at the commencement of the program. It gives me pleasure to be in your midst to deliver the goodwill message of the state commandant. By way of introduction, the state's commandant is not physically present because he has an urgent security issue to attend to as Eastern Obolo. So I am here representing him. I am Deputy Commandant at the Wuchukwu Vincent. I am the 2IC of the command, acting 2IC of the command and the head of administration. Let me go briefly to the history of Civil Defense Corps. The Corps was established in 2003 via an Act of National Assembly. The same Act was amended in 2007, and the amendment represented a significant milestone in our functions as a security organization in the country. Some of the functions include protection of petroleum pipelines and vandalism, protection of critical national infrastructure of local, state, and federal governments of Nigeria, registration of private guard companies, as well as development of training manuals for such companies, amongst others. The Corps has a directorate called Agro Rangers, and it's saddled with the responsibility of preventing crisis between herders and farmers in the country. It is my submission that this directorate will be useful in providing security for agribusiness to thrive in line with the theme of this conference. My thinking is that agribusiness could be in various forms, either in the provision of raw materials or value chain businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, whichever subsector of the agribusiness you may want to delve in, security is at the heart of it, and the Corps is very much disposed to discharge her mandate effectively
and efficiently to help in deepening this sector. I wish you all a successful deliberation and look forward to welcoming you to our command. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good afternoon once again. I should say this is my first time, so good afternoon, everyone. Standing in existing protocol, I'd like for us to give another resounding round of applause to the officer who just spoke to us on security. Well, like my senior colleague, Mr. Nathan Fimba said before stepping aside, the River State scenario has taught us a lot of lessons in Nigeria, and we cannot but help but appreciate the work of the NSCDC and other security agencies in Nigeria. And that, of course, is not setting aside the enormous contributions of the men and women of the Nigerian police force. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, I'd like to follow through from where my senior colleague stopped, and the next person we will be inviting to speak briefly will be the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC. If they're here, please. All right, over to you, sir.
Good afternoon. The head table. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Commissioner. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity once again. My name is Sao Chebuchukuma. I'm the Zonal Coordinator for Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. Now we're talking about agri production and exportation. But the totality of whatever we are discussing here has to do with the consumer. The essence of production, the essence of exportation is to meet a need. I always tell people that if the essence of your coming into trade or production is not to meet a need, then you are not supposed to be in that space. So I want us to know that from the farm to the fork, we should be careful so that the essence of our production will meet the need of a consumer. But currently in Nigeria, we know that there is a lot of problem, even for the producers and the sellers. And I want to say that the biggest problem we have in Nigeria now is the activity of middlemen, either holding the little that is available, or the middlemen that engage in multiple taxation. If you buy a carton of tomato just from the north here to get to this state, if you buy it 10,000, you may end up spending about 20,000 for it to get to this state. Not because that is the cost of the transportation, but because our friends of the uniform will take more than 12,000. But there's another group of people they call produce people. They take another 10,000. So by the time that carton of tomato or basket of tomato is coming to the market here in UYO, it has gotten to 30,000. And by the time it gets into the market, even if you are the one that brought it, the union will not allow you to sell it right here in UYO. And then you need to either sell it to them or you allow it perish, and the price will be determined by them. So the essence of what I'm trying to say here is that the federal government, in its wisdom, have come up with not policy, but laws that have gone through legislation, and it is totally for the interest and protection of the consumer. But it may not be easy for you to have a clear understanding if I start speaking to you here. To meet the people in Akwa Ibom and in UYO, we have a state engagement in the state tomorrow. And we want every person in agri to be there so that you understand how you can bring your market into the market and nobody will disturb you. If any person disturbs you, you call us or you get to us and we don't help you hold the federal government responsible for what is happening. We have done a great deal of studies. We found out that the major cause of this price escalation is not really only transportation. There are other major factors. And if we can break those factors down, the food cost will come down. Let me say, by our study, we have also made the federal government reduce or remove tax on certain food. If you know in Nigeria, you will understand. Those food will soon come in. But if we don't break down the activities of unions, it will still not get to the consumer at the price Nigeria or the federal government intends it to get. So please come to that program tomorrow. We call it stakeholders engagement at Villa Hilton Hotel. It will start by 11 o'clock. Please, we want you to be there, ask questions, tell us what you think you want the federal government to do. It will form a total package of what we will send to the federal government, because part of our responsibility is to advise the federal government on economic policies. These stakeholders engagement have happened in North Central, Southwest in Lagos, Northeast in Kano, and we have brought that of South to UYO, not in Port Harcourt where we stay, because of the kind of peace we have in UYO, because of the activities of the commissioner here and the governor. Clap for them, please. So by right, it's supposed to have gone to other states. But please, I'm appealing to you people to come and make use of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's clap him again as a return to seat. I call the indulgence of the members of the High Table to please again return to the Commandant, Civil Defense, to please give a brief comment before stepping out of the hall.
Thank you very much. All the command of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, that is Akwa Ibom State Command, is doing towards making sure that the atmosphere of farmers in all realms, that is both those in crop production, fishery, animal husbandry, that the atmosphere is peaceful, void of rancor, void of clashes between the indigenes and especially the herders. That is why we are calling on all to come to us. Our command is here, SUNA, if you follow SUNA, or Clementison is just there. So we can give you the desired protection. Even if you want to export, you need our escort, or if you're having problems security-wise where you are operating, you can contact us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please let's clap again the Commandant. Security is everything. If there is no security in our problem state, we will not be seated here. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, still from the members of the High Table, permit me to make welcome to the microphone for another brief comment this afternoon. The President, Maize Association of Nigeria, Dr. Bello Abubakar. Let's give him a round of applause, please.
The Honorable Commissioner, who is standing on behalf of the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, all the members at the High Table, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon once again. Uh, Let me go back to what some of the speakers spoke about the issue of exportation in terms of adding value to the agricultural product. One of them talk about the issue of ginger, that Nigeria is the second largest producer of ginger, while if you come to the issue of exportation, you'll not see Nigeria in the list of the top exporters for ginger. Why? The reason is that in all our agricultural products, we need to concentrate on using organic substances, because most of the products that are being exported, one of the international standard requirements is to use organic substances. Once you have a good seed, quality seed, in terms of fertilizer, go for organic fertilizer. Herbicide, go for organic herbicide, both post-emergence and pre-emergence. Insecticides, all. That's what the other countries are using. Then their products now become higher than our own. We are producing, but we can't export. Some other countries will come and buy our product. They will go and add some value to it and export it. Why? So why can't we now use the substances that we know as the best? Like in an area of maize production, if you are into maize production, there is some substances that is supposed to be used to add the value, also to protect your maize from any insect, that is aplasep. That aplasep is one of the standard requirements for maize exportation in every country. Without that, you can't export maize to anywhere. That aplasep is used to control the aflatoxin contamination in maize production. Even if you are not exporting, you can, if you produce maize with aplasep, you can keep it for many months or even a year without any damaging or insects to come and damage it. So therefore, I want to add on what our colleague said about the exportation, that in terms of production for the agricultural product, especially the one that are being produced, we have to go back to the organic substances. That one will add value to our production, both internal and external business. Thank you very much.
Let's give the great maize controller in Nigeria another round of applause. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we want to make room for a few questions, observations, concerns from the audience, and we're going to take 4 rounds of 4 persons, 1 from each aisle. Okay, we have 1 from here. We have the second, the lady. We need somebody from here in the last row. There's 1 person at the back. Okay, so we'll do 3, then we'll give an extra here so we can have 4. So let's start with you, sir. Please make it brief. 60 seconds stops. 1 minute, 30 seconds. The time starts now, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The representative of the governor and the head table. My name is Michael Opong, and I want to ask some questions and make some contributions. The first question is, what is GMO seeds? Does the Nigerian government encourage the cultivation of GMO? That is one. Number two, Dr. Manete is not here. I wanted to greet him and congratulate him for his paper. I know him very well, and he's a man that has been very, very particular about development. No wonder during his presentation, he made some lamentations. He said, I have done this, my people have not done it. I brought this, my people have not done it. For me, that was lamentation. I want to take a journey to the 90s. And that journey is export promotion, the promotion of non-oil export. I spent my youthful years trying to work on non-oil export promotion in this country. I was a member of trade committee representing airport authority for over 10 years in the late 80s and 90s. And we were trying to look at increasing the quantum of non-oil exports. National Export Promotion Council, I have a question for you. Have our efforts of the 90 been increased? And if it is, by what quantum? How much of non-export in terms of quantum compared to oil have we achieved in Nigeria? That is my question. Number two, I have watched about sustainability and acceptability of goods from Nigeria, and the question I'm asking is it still a product of imperialism? Why should the yarn from Ghana be accepted in Europe or America and the yarn from Nigeria is not accepted? Is it a way to continue to put down Nigeria? I wonder, but look at it very critically before you say it is not so. Why would they accept things from other countries? When it comes to our nation, they say they use this to plant, they use this to package, they use this. Is it not imperialistic tendency to continue to put Nigeria where it should not be? I want you to consider this. Because I know many people are going to have a lot of contributions to make. These are the few points I would like to make. Export Promotion Council. If we pay so much attention to oil, are we really doing non-oil? Because you see, this China, we're talking about China. China government spend plenty to promote Chinese goods because they want to make dollars. But if you don't help the producers here to produce, how will the dollars come? And how will non-oil export increase? Thank you very much. Serious questions, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Before we progress with the next round of contributions, please allow me to break protocols and go straight into giving out the awards that we have today, because some of the VIPs would have to quickly step out to be involved in other engagement. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, standing on existing protocol, members of the high table, I'd like to please ask the Honorable Commissioner to please do us the honor of presenting this first round of awards. And in summary, if you were here yesterday, this award is initiated by the South-South Zonal Coordinator of NAADI, that is NADI himself, Mr. Howard Hussain, who has looked into the contributions of men and women, organizations, government agencies, as far as the agri-value chain is concerned, and how these contributions have been able to transform the landscape of doing business as far as agriculture in Nigeria is concerned. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Commissioner, please, the first person who will help us this afternoon to give the award to will be Mr. Godwin Ekpeyong. He has been awarded today for his numerous contributions in the agricultural sector, and this is an award presented by the Nigeria Agri and Agro-Industry, or is an award for the Nigerian Agri-Business and Agro-Industry Development Initiative presented by NADI. Please, Mr. Bayo, step forward so we can have this presentation done.
Think, Mr. Kwenyong, this was one award. There are four now. There are four pieces. But it gives me pleasure, considering all the great things that you do, to present this award to you. It's going to be fixed, but I still want to present to you, and we'll take care of it, I'm sure. Whereas Howard, we have a little accident here, but I think we'll take care of it. So please, let's put our hands together for this award that is very, very well deserved, and whatever the incident is will be, taken care of. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming all the way to come and grace this occasion. Okay.
Let's give it a round of applause, please. Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner. And thank you. Yes, just briefly, please.
The governor, ably represented by the Honorable Commissioner, and the Executive Director of the AGRIBUSINESS, and other members of the High Table, distinguished participants, I want to express my deep gratitude to the organizers of this roundtable. Indeed, it is a veritable platform for exchange of ideas and exposition of policies that can help our young men and women in agribusiness. Indeed, I have observed one omission here, Honorable Commissioner, which I have to say that as one coming from the National Assembly, and this is a democratic dispensation, and whatever you do, you need to involve the legislature. The legislature, more than every other thing, has the power of the purse. And if you have any project that you need to execute as an executive, you need to curry the favor of the legislature so that they can appropriate adequate funding for such projects to see the light of the day. And having said that, I want to also talk to the participants, particularly the women and the youth. There is no way you can adequately involve the youth in this agribusiness without the government taking the enormous and decisive steps in doing this. Why do I say this? We are a developing country, and government is almost everything. There is no youth who has just finished youth service that can be able to do what we are talking now in event of, going to agribusiness and making it to the point of exporting whatever produce he or she is engaging in. So government is a catalyst. At any time, so long as we are in the developing, government has to provide the land. They have to prepare the land. They have to assist in seedling, quality seedling, because when what you put in like computer, garbage in, garbage out. In the positive side, if you have quality seedling, you also have good quality product that is that will compete in the international market. I have opportunity of attending Pan-African Parliament meeting in South Africa. And Nigeria is not, this after we are talking about an AGUA, is a whole lot of opportunity for agri-products, particularly when you enhance the quality. In other words, you process it. But we find out that you go to outside country, you don't see Nigerian products, whether it is finished or how are we going to compete in this after? We cannot. Most African countries do this process their goods, even finished goods. So maybe that is the reason Nigeria has not really taken the bold step to lead in this after. So I want to tell you, Honorable Commissioner, we cannot go forward if government does not take the center step. We have to. The young, if you take a pilot, maybe 100 youth and women, provide them with land, provide them with the mechanization to prepare the land, give them good seedling, and you see them fly. And I want to, having said that, government must monitor the distance. Without good monitoring, we can go nowhere. Government has, over the years, have good policies, but because of no monitoring, because the other person, we should, as much as possible, reduce the amount of money that you give to them. Let it be in form of services, in form of seedlings, so that they have less money that they can be supplied. If they do that, Nigeria, and indeed Agribusiness in particular, you will see a lot of millionaires in agribusiness. I want to believe that it is possible, and I do know you can champion that. Thank you very much for the awards. From National Assembly, we appreciate you, and National Assembly as the apex legislative body, doing everything to reduce these bottlenecks that exporters encounter. So I believe that we'll come up with a good law to make sure that our exporters, especially in agribusiness, have less stress in exporting their produce. Thank you very much once again.
Please let's clap him. It is well-deserved award, and of course, round of applause. Honorable Commissioner.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kwenyong. I have to appreciate the word of advice and encouragement to the people. But I also want to mention that government in Akwa Ibom specifically is doing a lot to support, agribusiness. Just in the way that you're saying, in the form of seedlings, recently they give seedlings and fertilizers. I think the one thing they have to increase is monitoring. Because without monitoring, a lot of young men, women, when they hear about government support, they think it's going to be financial. And when they go there and it's seedlings, not money, they get discouraged. Because, they cannot take seedlings to the bar. They cannot, treat a friend out for lunch with the seedlings. So I think we have to increase our monitoring efforts to make sure that even the seedlings, the fertilizers, and other applicable materials are used properly and not mismanaged or misapplied. So thank you so much for the words of advice.
Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner, Trade and Investment. Truly appreciate your contribution. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, just so we can quickly get over it, I'd like to please respectfully invite himself, the director with article Pastor Report, to please help us make the next round of presentation. And the first person who will be helping us to give the next round of award to will be Pastor James I. Akaman. Pastor James I. Akaman, if you're here, please step forward to be recognized for your numerous contribution in the agricultural sector. Pastor James I. Ekanen or his representative, if you're here, please step forward. All right, thank you very much. Please let's make them welcome with a round of applause. That is not deserving of the pastor. We have two pastors standing in front of you, so it definitely deserve a revolving round of applause.
Pastor David Idorisi James Ekanem representing. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Commissioner, respected members of the High or of the league table, and very distinguished participants who are already positioned for export. I trust that will happen. Thank God for all our people here that have taught us what to do and legitimately to deliver. I have the privilege to, on behalf of the organizers of this event, very successful event, to make this presentation to my own brother from the pulpit. So I will say, in the name of God the Father, and of the Son,
Amen,
and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Congratulations. God bless you.
Pastor, please, you still have some more? Pastor, please. Yes, you still have some more, please. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to please invite Engineer Sam Udoton to please step forward to be well recognized for his numerous contribution in the agri value chain. Engineer Sam Udoton, if you're here, please step forward to be appreciated. Engineer Sam Udoton, thank you very much. Okay, representing Engineer Sam Udoton, please step forward, sir. Thank you very much.
The father. Deserve it. Even engineer was here, he will have to sit down. Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of the organizers of this agribusiness roundtable, I'd like to present this to your son, which you are made to understand that is very innovative. Thank God for funding him. I trust that he will reciprocate.
Thank you. A round of applause, please. The next person, Pastor Pratt, will still help us present the next round, but we'll give Engineer Udoton's dad just a brief moment of comment, please. Is that the right? Okay. All right, sir. Over to you. Okay, I'm just being informed that we have two Udotons, so one has been taken. We also use this opportunity to present a award of recognition to Engineer Isaiah Udoton, himself the father, two proud engineers from the same family. It deserves a well round of applause from all of us, please. Thank you.
Once again, we want to give God the glory for this day and to give the senior Udoton standing, the grace, and the belief in his children. So if you did not believe in them, you will not invest in them. This is a typical example of not just agribusiness, but human capital business, because investment is business. Today, they are celebrated even in their absence. Congratulations, sir.
A round of applause, sir. So we give you just 60 seconds for a brief comments before Pastor will help us with the remaining 3 awards.
We are really humbled to receive this award, and in the honor of His Excellency the Governor, as represented by the Commissioner, giving this award in recognition of the contribution of Samuel Udoton, who is the founder of Fireflies that has now had branches in about 24 countries, and artificial intelligence. And I would like to say what we are trying to export, and we know that India send IT skills all over the world. But Fireflies is the only company has actually been able to capture 60% of Indian market in artificial intelligence. So, and the one for Isaiah Udotom, agro-tech business, he's been able to design and build a machine that processes palm kernel and has been able to process about 10,000 metric tons of palm kernel both in Cross River and Akwa Ibom State. That is also winning global recognition all over in the United States, from Forbes magazine, from Stanford University, and from New York Times. So we are humbled to receive this award, and we will continue to do more to encourage other young people to follow suit. Let me just mention this, that for fireflies actually have people work remotely. So, and we want to bring that there are about 20 people at least working remotely and earning money, even in dollars, working for fireflies. But we want to make that happen here in Akwa Ibom State, to train people in AI and other skills that they can be able to work remotely and earn lots of money for fireflies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Pastor. Please step over and take your seat. Pastor, thank you very much. But please, let's just take a front of that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to please invite Ambassador Cristobal to please replace Pastor Okada after this photograph to make the next round of presentation. Let's welcome Ambassador Cristobal. If you were here yesterday, then you must have been a part of the fire that she threw, representing the women community. 35% of American action definitely showing there. And yesterday we all agreed she should be voted for president. Of course, she is standing as the woman who oversees the Southside Chambers of Commerce, of course also speaking for the women. Ladies and gentlemen, to receive this award, I'd like to invite Dr. Ahmed Bello Hamza to please step forward to receive this award of recognition from NADI. Dr. Ahmed Bello Hamza, please step forward if you're here or your representative. Let's give him a round of applause, please. Thank you.
So we have the honor to present this award to you for all the great contributions that you've been doing in supporting agribusiness and agri-value chain. On behalf of the organizers and the government of Akwa Ibom, we present this award to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hamza, a good one there. Ambassador Christopher, please let me help you with the microphone so you can pose for the file. Thank you very much. Ambassador, you still help us make the last two presentations, please. Would you want to speak, sir? Briefly, please.
In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. On behalf of Rhoda International Agro Allied, I am the General Manager of the company Abubakar Osman. We wish to extend our appreciation of the event and the entire people of the Akwa Ibom. We wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hamza. Appreciate you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the next one is for the Value Chain Development and Export, Origin Export Nigeria Limited, still to be taken by Dr. Hamza himself. As a representative, please, over to you. Ambassador Christopher, please.
Hello, sir. on behalf of the organizers of the Agric Roundtable and the good people of Akwa Ibom State, we present this special award to you for all the contributions you have been making and you will continue to make in agriculture and agri-value chain. Receive this. Amen.
A round of applause, please. Thank you very much. Just one last assignment before we allow Ambassador Christopher to please return to her seat. And this time around, just briefly, you want to speak?
Good day all to you. I'm a representative from Origin Export Nigeria Limited. I want to assure you, this company has gone in terms of exporting our products to other countries, especially Mexico, India, China, and so on. So we are very happy to see each and every one of everybody here. So we wish everybody safe back to your destiny. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you very much. Ambassador Christopher, I would like to say thank you. I'm told it is a great honor and privilege to have Ambassador here with us. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to please invite Dr. Hamza to please step forward to present the last award. It is going to be from a doctor to a doctor. Talking about Dr. Umanite Udo, please step forward to be recognized for your generous contribution. Dr. Hamza, will you please help us make the presentation of the award, please? Let's give them a round of applause as they both step forward. A doctor to a doctor, please step forward.
Okay. On behalf of the organizers of the Agribusiness Roundtable, I hereby to present this award to you for the numerous contributions in area of agribusiness and area production. I'm wishing you all the best and wish you a successful deliberation in all your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Let's clap them once again. That is a well-deserved award from a doctor to a doctor. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Agri-Value Chain special award of recognition given to these deserving members of society. Of course, it is a way of promoting agribusiness value chain, not just in the Akwa State, not just in the South region, but also in Nigeria. Thank you so much to all those who have helped us to present the awards and to all those who have been honored. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to respectfully invite the brain behind the 2024 third Agribusiness Roundtable Conference happening live in the city of New York, part of the state, himself, the Southside Zone coordinator of NAVI, and man I respect so much, a man who has great vision and wants to, and will in time, transform the agribusiness value chain, not just for Akwa and the South Side, but the generality of Nigeria. So, ladies and gentlemen, a round of ovation as we make welcome for the closing remarks, Mr. Howard Hussein. If that applause is resounding enough, it will inspire him the more.
Thank you very much, Francis. What I can say here is that we have done it. We have done it together. We wouldn't have been able to do it without all of you. The first appreciation goes to God Almighty for making this program a reality. As a Saturday, most of the Ibom flights in the evenings were cancelled, and the people moved their flight to Sunday morning. It was also cancelled. So I was worried, but God stood by us, and some people were still able to make it to UYO. I want to congratulate everyone that has made it to this program. I want to appreciate the Executive Director of Agribusiness in Akipok. The notice was very short, but within that short period of time, he was able to put together something to show the investment opportunities, the potentials that Akwa Ibom State has. That if you want to invest, we're looking for where to invest, where to come and raise in terms of tourism, that Akwa Ibom State is that destination. So thank you very much. God bless you. I want to appreciate my minister who has made this possible. Because if I sent a letter to the minister and the minister does not give approval, we wouldn't be here this moment. That is one organization that anytime I sent a letter to them, no matter how difficult, the officers in the ministry will ensure that I get approval. And yet, I'm far away here. Sometimes I don't meet them. All I need is to send a letter. I want you to join me to clap for Federal Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Abuja. The representative of the minister is Mr. Charles, and I have Mr. Ahmed Abdul. I have Alaji Musa. Can we still clap for them? Because these people are very important and very critical. If they don't want the minister to see your memo, they know what to do. And then I look at the national president of MES, Dr. Bello Ano, for taking all the pains to be in UYO. So God bless you. My ambassador, thank you very much. The energy, the fire, the enthusiasm, the beauty, the splendor. Welcome to the land of UYO. Then my brother, Dr. Umana Ete. We've been talking. In fact, for the last 2 months, I've been in America. Why? The kind of mails we exchange, 2 o'clock, we breach international time to discuss APTAC, to discuss AGAR, how our people can benefit from that. Energy and time was not in vain. God has given us success by this meeting today. Then to all of you that have come all the way from Port Harcourt, Abuja, everywhere. Even my friends came in from Kano. They're bringing seats during other sessions. We know what to do. That have come this far, I say God bless you. Then lastly, my big brother, the Honorable Commissioner for Trade and Investment, Akwa Ibom State. If there's any man that should have an award, if there's any man that should receive applause, if there's any man that should receive accolade, thanksgiving, is this man seated here. I want to be quoted this moment. You don't need 1,000 people to succeed. You don't need a crowd to succeed. You need just one person that believes in you. That is what is missing in the world today. When I presented the idea to him, he bought into it. And then he stood by me. And today I'm honored that this program is taking place. If I'm shedding tears now, it's tears of joy that this program has taken place. So God bless you for standing by me. Someday, God will make a man to stand by you where it matters. I end my note by saying, together we have made it. It's becoming a crusade. It's a crusade. To move people from a region of poverty to prosperity is a crusade. To move people from slavery
to where they can be independent and decide for themselves is a crusade. To tell people that no effort, no effort, no nothing can make a man poor if he makes up his mind to succeed and prevail in life. It's a crusade. So what else? Once again, I say thank you very much. God bless you for coming out. God will take you safely to your destination. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Amen. Just praise the Lord. Inshallah, it has been done. Thank you so much, Mr. Howard. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is where we draw the message. But to send us back home, I'd like to invite again himself, a man of God, Pastor Okwat, to please say a brief closing prayer to send us home. Thank you very much, Pastor, for doing the honors.
Praise the Lord. Please, let's be on our feet. The prayer I'm going to pray will call across Christians and Muslims. I recognize our friends from Kanu, Inakeja, Yaya Aiki, Yaya Mata, Yaya Mata Makaranta. God bless you. And so, Father, we thank you. We bless your name because you are King. This can only be you. We started yesterday as if he did not want to start. But even that yesterday, we ended in a grand style. Today, we are here. You started us again. You even enabled us to deliver over and above our expectation. Deliver before the time we were estimating. This is admittedly glorious. Father, we pray that the 2 days we were put in to impact ourselves on the need to move forward, to progress on the platform of agribusiness. Father, let it not just be a talk show. Let there be demonstration. Let there be participation. Let there be intentionality. Father, let us be tenacious to ensure. When our ambassador was talking, she said, by the time we come back for a review in 2025, Father, let there be something to show. In the mighty name of Jesus. Take us from where we are today, enable us through the journey, and let all of us arrive at our destination. Father, for all the enablers that we desire, the federal government, the state government, the different agencies, the private sector, the security, all the collaborators to ensure that at the end of the day we consummate success and performance. Father, enable us to deliver according to our expectations in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. For the organizers, Father, we thank you. Admittedly, they have gone through pains, stress, sometimes positively confused, but at the end of the day, they stood their ground tenaciously. They put the business together. They put the round table together. Today is delivered to the success of and glory of the Almighty God in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. We ask for all those that came and they are going back, even those that went back yesterday or went back this morning. Father, at the end of the day, we are short of journey mercies in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. Father, as we leave, let us go and think investment. Amen. Think investment, amen, particularly in agribusiness, and let us invest. And at the end of the day, let gracious and wonderful Father, our investment not only be profitable, let it also pay dividends to all the stakeholders. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please note that the communique will be sent. Okay.
Excuse me, please. I just want to make an appeal while I still say God will take you to your destinations. We had to change our venue at the last minute, and I had entertainers set up to entertain this August group, especially for those of you that are from out of state, even those of you that are from here. Do you want to be entertained? Do you want to be entertained? Please, I just want you to hang loose for maybe 10, not more than 15 minutes. Please, the entertainers are going to be here and they are unique. I don't want you to miss that opportunity. If you have access to water, drink because you're going to dance. Are you ready to dance? Good man. So I want you to please give them some minutes. They're going to be here. Our brothers and sisters from out of state, please just give them some minutes because It's a unique entertainment that I would love you to see before you leave. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of this ensemble. Thank you, Howard, for your zeal. Thank you for your ideas. Thank you for sticking to it. Thank you so much. Please just hang tight and wait for the entertainment.
This event, and remember to stay and enjoy the entertainment and listen to the next announcement.
Hello. Please don't go. I have some news. I have some news for us. Please don't go. Don't go. Please don't go. Just listen to me for a few minutes. I have 2 points to make. Point number one, the pastor that just finished praying. You know, Pastor, at the time of COVID-19, I went to his bank and tried to package a Bible people to be able to get money from the federal government. I couldn't. So I just want to shout that a Bible, let's learn to work together. That's one. Number two, as you dismiss, please listen to this. The Bank of Industry has made it possible for you to borrow up to 10 million. I repeat, up to 10 million. If you can have two guarantors for that loan. We are working together and we want to tell people the benefits of being a guarantor. You don't lose anything, but for those people that are retiring 5 years from now, you would have set up your business. And that amount of money is not borrowed by you, it's borrowed by the person you guarantee. They are married to lose, they are married so good that please, I don't want a Bible to miss out because it's the biggest opportunity for you to even start this exporting of food processing business. There is equipment you can acquire to process farm produce, process cassava, and about that 10 million. And I am sure that time has passed that a Bible producing before. Other people borrow the money to build their industry. Our time has arrived, and just don't even worry yourself. Listen to me. Do what is to be done, and get a younger person than you in public savings from the bank, a chartered accountant, a lawyer, you are a medical doctor. You can guarantee somebody, and that business is run for you. That's my contribution that God says I should come out here and tell you, if you don't believe it, there is nothing I can do. And I'm told you, and I will be approaching the radio. If you listen to radio and TV, you will hear what I'm talking about. Thank you very much. And I'll say, may God make us all in Jesus' name.
Good afternoon, Nigerians. We have come to the end of the third Agri Roundtable International Conference that's taking place in UYO. It started yesterday and is ending today. I want to use this opportunity to appreciate His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umoino, also the Commissioner of Trade and Investment, who has stood by us throughout this program. I want to say that today Akwa Ibom has been transformed. Today, a lot of happened in the agri industry. People now realize that there's agriculture, there's agri in business. I want to thank God for bringing us to this conclusive end. My name is Dr. Owen Udowem. I work for UYO Chambers of Commerce. I'm the Executive Secretary, UYO Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Power. If you have any questions or any interest in anything, maybe you didn't catch it up while the program was going on, I can drop my number, then you call me and then we disturb. My number is 08034832318. My final word is that we can make it and we will make it. Thank you so much. Looking forward for the fourth Agri conference that is coming back either in Abuja or somewhere close. Thank you and God bless you all.